Sauce.
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I got the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
Human nature is a master at making a big mess. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th generation Safer Choice certified dish formula helps remove stuck-on food with one unstoppable pack. That's the power of 7th generation.
I work at Suncommon, and we are here today in Worcester on the north branch of the Winooski River, and we are planting 1,122 trees today.
The pandemic has left us spending less time together, and so this is really a good opportunity to connect with old colleagues and meet new people as well. And one of the reasons we're planting trees is because it does sequester carbon. It is about climate action, and so this is just another way that we get to do that work.
Trees are really important wildlife habitat in river areas, so this is what we call a riparian forest buffer is what we're creating today. In addition to all the wildlife habitats, this is a really good water quality project to slow down water and let some sediment drop out before it gets to the river. I know that planting this one tree might not do a lot, but when all of us work together, we just planted a whole forest, basically. It's really cool.
This is the first adaptive-friendly trail network that's being built from design to execution. Suncommon volunteers are here tonight, as well as some new volunteers from all around.
If you make a trail that rides well for an adaptive bike, it's going to ride well for two-wheeled bikes as well.
My name is Greg Durso, and I'm riding the Reactive Adaptations Hammerhead. There's a lot of common misconceptions when it comes to what adaptive or accessible trails are. For us though, when we say accessible, it just means enough room for our bikes to get down it. So we don't want our trails dumbed down, we just want them just a little bit wider, a little bit more attainable for us to use. I'm paralyzed, I'm a T4 paraplegic, so I can't walk. So this bike enables me to get out there and start riding. When I get out of my wheelchair and I get into my bike, I kind of feel like Superman. And I love that feeling. It gets me into places that I can never get into that my wheelchair can't take me.
Suncommon has been an amazing partner in this project. We already surpassed the point that we thought we would reach by the end of the season, and a lot of that's just thanks to Suncommon.
It takes a community, it takes a lot of people to be out there, and you're really doing good for everyone. You're sustaining these trails, making new trails, making mountain biking more accessible for everybody.
The goal here is net zero, so all of the energy consumed here I want to come from the roof, and I chose Suncommon very specifically. This is just a smarter way to buy energy. All my yard equipment is electric and battery operated. I mean, every morning when I come out now, I look back and I go, yep, that sunlight is falling from the sky and that energy is being put into that car as we speak, which, I don't know, doesn't get much cooler. Riding on sunshine.
The beauty of grass is that you have to look at it as every blade of grass being a solar panel. And that grass is absorbing sun's energy the entire time there's sun out.
Being a small farm, we don't have the scale of cash flows that a lot of larger farms have. So for us to be able to stay in business, it's important that we're able to utilize every one of our spaces as efficiently and as profitably as we can. Our rooftops were something that really hadn't served us any purpose, but now that they can actually produce the amount of electricity that we need to run the farm, that's just, it was a no-brainer. Dairy is something that I can firmly stand behind. I believe that it is very nutritious, very good for you, and done right, I believe that it's also good for the environment.
I think we're at the point now that it'd be crazy not to have solar. When we decided that we were going to use a commercial company instead of doing it ourselves, which was an option, I did research on SunCommon, because I don't know that I trust lots of solar power companies. And it's a big project. There's so many things that can go wrong. I wanted a company that I felt good about.
We're filming.
We understand what local issues are.
Other credit unions might offer like the VHFA and the Champlain Housing Trust, but it's cool that we have our own product.
It's called home ownership made easier. It essentially gets somebody into a house who does not have a down payment. There's a lot of lenders who are not willing to take a look at the type of transactions that are going in there. But the fact is Vermonters live in those communities.
Every second, Vermonters spend $20 with Amazon. That's $20 going to someone you don't know and will never meet. You are just an order number to Amazon. $20 every second. That means every minute, Vermonters are spending $1,100 with Amazon. You might as well throw it in the trash. It's time to change. Let's keep this $1,100 in our Vermont economy. Mighty is an online shopping platform that keeps money in the local community. You order things, it comes from independent retailers nearby, it's dropped to your doorstep. Together, we can change online shopping for good. Visit Mighty, MYTI.com to get started.
Progress by doing the things you love. If you can farm, fight food deserts. If you can surf for racial justice. Like to read? Start a banned book club. Protest with an ice cream cone or project new meaning on an outdated statue. Get in a costume, but try not to get arrested. You have the tools for doing good, and the greatest tool is your own unique flavor. Ben & Jerry's. Make some mother truckin' change.
Human nature's ability to contain itself is questionable. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th Generation's bio-based detergent goes deep to help break apart and wash away tough stains. That's the power of 7th Generation.
For the first time in 8 days, Vermont Green FC back in action and back at beautiful Virtue Field in Burlington, Vermont. The Green hosting Boston City FC for the second time this season. They will clash with these foes from Boston as the Green, with 5 USL 2 in-divisional matchups remaining in their regular season, look to further help their playoff positioning. Brian McLaughlin and Matt Montel back with you. Matt, it's great to be back at Virtue with these great fans in front of so many great players. Should be a really fun one tonight as the Green look for their second consecutive win.
Yeah, absolutely. Really great to be back. Feels like it was honestly a lifetime. I couldn't remember how long it had been, but 8 days, you start to get addicted to it. You want it every week or you want it every couple days.
Of course, some of that context to the break is we weren't here for the historic match over the weekend with Vermont Green FC, Matt, fielding a women's side for the first time in team history. And not only do they make history with just appearing as a club. They win the game. They win it in PKs, dramatic fashion. Great job to Ryan Zimmerman and Christy Hyzenga, who were here on the call. Matt, what an experience that was just to watch from afar. It was so cool seeing the stands packed, the hill packed, and what a result for the women's team. That was really, really cool.
Well, I was speaking with some of the leadership from the club, and congratulating them on just such a great showing and putting on such a great event for it. And it was funny because you and I had talked like how much soccer, football has grown in the last decade, and we've been watching the men's team for this time, and we didn't quite know necessarily like, okay, what would the women's team turnout look like? Sold out the week before, right? And everybody came out. You had all the players up in the stands as well, supporting the women's team from it. And honestly, it was high quality football. I was just impressed with everything about it.
Shout out to Coach Sam Mewis. Great job, Coach. Great job to all of the outstanding players. I was just proud to even have a small part of this club watching from afar to see the passion they played with. A really, really cool day. And I sat down with manager and sporting director Adam Pfeiffer to discuss what it was like for him. We'll get to that interview momentarily. But, Matt, I'm curious what you think this break's going to do for the men's team. I know they were all here in the stands watching the women's match. Just kind of a little summer break for these guys. 8 days off, you get a little treat to watch somebody else don your own crest. That's got to be rejuvenating for this group this time of year, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it was long enough for it to honestly, get some cobwebs on the legs, so to speak. So I think they'll like you said, rejuvenated. I think they'll get some rest. I'm sure they've been getting their touches in. They've had a little bit more time to train. I bet they'll actually honestly look pretty sharp.
We're going to get to our interview with manager and sporting director Adam Pfeiffer momentarily. For now, we'll step aside 30 seconds. Starting lineups also on the horizon as City take on the Green in just a bit.
Human nature's ability to contain itself is questionable. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th Generation's bio-based detergent goes deep to help break apart and wash away tough stains. That's the power of 7th Generation.
Welcome back to the Vermont Green FC pregame show, joined by manager and sporting director Adam Pfeiffer. Coach, you're back at Virtue Field. 8 days off for your team, but I want to ask you about the time between games. What did you feel like that was able to do for your club as you get a pretty extended break in the middle of your season?
Yeah, it was a good break physically for the guys. Some of the guys who played more minutes took a little bit of time off, but honestly, it was a good reset, I think, as well, just for our guys to be able to go to the women's match. Be able to eat the food and sit up in the stands with the community and with the fans and kind of celebrate soccer and women's soccer, and I think it was a nice little reset for them too, just to see how much the community is supporting us, and we had probably our 2 best days of training that we've had all summer, last 2 days. So it's good. We're in a good spot.
I wanted to ask you about your experience specifically with the women's match, and something that you're able to maybe take a bit of a step back from in the day-to-day training with your club, obviously so hands-on, but what was it like for you getting to watch that match and experience that from the crowd?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, having the opportunity to again eat the food and be in the stands and watch the game and just support the club and be a fan was great. I think ultimately for me, like putting teams together, that's what I really love doing. And so being able to watch a team that we had put together over 2 months was a lot of fun and very gratifying.
Let's talk about your team specifically right now in the midst of this stretch towards the playoffs. I know you're kind of right in that playoff picture. Where do you feel like your group's at right now as far as energy levels and just as far as where you feel like they could go throughout the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think the energy in the group is really good. We're getting guys back that have been a little bit unhealthy, that are coming back from injuries and stuff like that. So, Zach Zangi's still at Columbus, but he'll be back tomorrow. So we're kind of getting to where we kind of need to be at this point in the season, but there's a little bit of pressure as well, where we really feel like we have to win every match, and so that's the mentality going into tonight. But I think it's a positive mentality, and we're excited just to kick the ball off and get going.
How much have you talked to the guys about that playoff structure and the format and what you need to do during these next couple of games in order to position yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think the guys are aware that our destiny's in our own hands.
Welcome back to Virtue Field. Apologies for a bit of technical difficulties there. Again, getting you set for action between Boston City FC and Vermont Green FC. Matt, a quick look at the playoff picture. This Vermont Green side currently in third in the division table, behind Western Massachusetts, who are even in matches played. And they have Seacoast United clear of the table. They are unbeaten at 8-0-0. This is a Vermont Green side, though, in the playoff picture. 5 matches remaining. I talked with Coach Pfeiffer right there about some of the pressure that getting 3 points is going to mount on this team for the remainder of the season. How do you expect that could potentially play out today?
Well, I think it's going to have to go back to what we were talking about, sharing the goals and having a little bit more distribution of those goals throughout the team. Right now, Bazzini is carrying almost half of the goals this season for it. And if we're looking at Western Mass, that goal differential, the goals for, I'm pretty sure it's almost doubled, or it's pretty significant to a point that you can't necessarily rely on that if you're tied on points potentially within the next couple matches from there. So really, it's got to be 3 points.
As the Green get introduced in front of their home fans, let's meet the visiting lineup. Boston City FC coming at 1-5-2, 1 win, 5 losses, 2 draws, 5 points. They're 1 clear of the bottom of the table in 8th place in the 9-team division. Boston City FC coming off a drubbing against Western Massachusetts 6-1 on Friday. This is the lineup, Matt. They go a 3-4-3, so it's a defensive-based structure that could really look like a back five we're expecting with Pablo Gomez and Ji-Woo Lee, the University of New Hampshire product, wide on those wing-back spots. We expect that to be a pretty defensive posture, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to see off the ball, it's going to look like 5 across that back from there, and then looks like Gos and Guarcas.
Yep.
Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong.
You nailed
are going to
it.
be sitting pretty tight right in front of them.
Gos is the team's leading scorer. He goes by Tiago, so we can just stick with Tiago there for Gos. He has 5 of their 9 goals on the year. And then they're led by a top line, a debutant, Pierce Julian on the left side. That's Akko Gadebo. He just goes by Akko. That was one that they said you're going to struggle with it. Akko, number 21. And then Andrew Coelho is on the right-hand side, the midfielder from Williams. How about we meet this Vermont Green FC side? Matt, last time out, they switched it up on the road at AC Connecticut. They had a back 3 with 2 wing backs, but today back to the 4-2-3-1. Yaniv Bazzini with 9 goals on the season, second in all of USL, 2 in goals. He's leading the line once again. What else stands out to you about this Green side?
Well, I am really happy to see Bazzini going back to leading the line, because every time you see, especially when he plays with his back to goal, when he receives it, he has a very nice close touch to him, and then he always seems to draw that foul really well. Like, he's very good at almost turning the player, and they don't want to let him go, so they have to either foul him or time the tackle perfectly, and he's an absolute handful.
I know you were excited to see this back 4 today. Castillo, Ndie, Fisher, and Prego. That feels like an all-star cast along the back line.
Yeah, and, as we were saying off air, it's probably the best back 4 I think we've had now, this being the 3rd season for it, and that takes nothing away from previous back lines that we've had. I just think it keeps improving every single season, and I'm just so impressed with all 4 of them.
It's a very good Vermont Green FC defensive record. They've allowed, to this point, 6 goals on the year. The only teams that have allowed more are Western Massachusetts and Seacoast United. Allowed less, I mean to say. So it's a very strong defensive record for the Green. Looking to get back in the win column at home, where they've scuffled twice this year, dropping points in a tie against Pathfinder FC and recently against the Western Massachusetts Pioneers. A massive 3 points on the line, with the playoff picture seemingly looming, growing with every passing day. The thoughts on Where will this team finish throughout the regular season on the forefront of everyone's minds?
And I don't recall if I've actually seen Leighton and Rodri play together in the middle. Have we seen that?
Not that I remember,
Not
yeah.
that I can recall either. And what I noticed out of Leighton at least 8 days ago was that he did keep it very tidy and very simple. That was kind of his role. He would win the ball and then immediately find that kind of immediate pass. But Rodri, I've noticed, plays almost more as kind of an 8. Like, he likes to roam back and forth. He will cover the entire spine of that field.
Underway between Boston City and Vermont Green. Reed Fisher launches it deep towards Xavi O'Neal back in the side. Great to have the young speedster back, O'Neal. And he immediately applies pressure to Abdul Berry. Again, it's Berry, Doherty, and Gisholt along the back line in front of University of New Hampshire goalkeeper Cameron Hall for the visitors. Leighton towards Gabe Threadgold. And Threadgold beaten to it again. That's Berry roaming to the near side.
A really good look. If only Threadgold had just kind of anticipated it. He looked to the right instead of the left, and I don't think he thought it was going to be that good.
Threadgold, we've seen him at right back. We've seen him in the attacking midfield. Prego back to that really regular spot. He's established himself the last 2 seasons as the go-to right back. Diego Castillo, teammates with Musa and DA at VCU, starting on that back line together, both first-team All-League. And that's a beautiful ball. Gabe Threadgold in the early minutes. Threadgold! Off the post twice! A double doink! Threadgold, no. Bazzini hammers it, but it's blocked by Guercas. What a sequence inside of 90 seconds.
And already coming down to the other side of the field now here too. And it looks like there's a little bit of a push. Referee doesn't agree.
Pablo Gomez, the one attempting to break for City. What a sequence for the Green. Threadgold post to post. And now Jackson Castro.
Here.
Castro has it stopped by Hall. Oh, the Green are exploding off the jump.
But it's going back and forth, Brian. And a great tackle there.
But keeping it a strong play by Akko. Their central striker, making his second start of the year, still scoreless.
Well, I can say there's no warm-up time. We're just getting after this now, huh?
Well, after the last time we saw the Green here, Matt, Western Massachusetts, ended in a 0-0 draw. Not that it was lacking action, but both teams, it felt like were playing just very cautiously, didn't want to allow the big moment.
It felt like both teams just really didn't want to make the big mistake, so you just take it off by 5% a little bit, I'd say.
Bazzini making the run, the flag staying down, he's on sides. Yaniv Bazzini's picked it up with O'Neal in the middle. Bazzini clips it across.
Goalkeeping.
Hall got out and touched it. He's been the regular in net for Boston City. Been forced into a big save.
You don't want to see your goalkeeper that busy already this early in the game, though.
And Rodri cannot keep that in play right along the near touchline. Also directly in front of the Green bench. They had a good look at it and disagree with the flag going out. I'm surprised Bazzini was on sides there, Matt. I thought he had wandered.
Same. I think he didn't even expect it necessarily. You saw him look around and he's like, oh, it actually did come.
Prego to Castro.
A cultured chest.
Prego has it pinched off him. Got a bit too fancy. Hustling forward, Coelho. And now Prego brings him down.
It's a professional foul, too, since he had lost it there. And it's so early in the beginning. I think it's his first one, so he knows he'll probably get away without a yellow.
Another look at the sequence, Matt, that had Threadgold in on goal. Off both posts, and then it falls to Bazzini, who thumped one into a blocker save. Later,
that was going in, too. That strike, he hit it right in the middle. You could see where it hit the chest of the defender. That was going on frame.
This will be Thiago to take the set piece. Again, 5 goals on his season. Scored the lone tally against the Pioneers on Friday.
And here's where I'm looking to see Montelli to be aggressive here, because it's going to be an in-swinger. It's going to come to him quickly.
And the 2-time Patriot goalkeeper of the year at BU. And it's Prego who meets it on the in-swinger. An attempted volley from Gomez back towards the mixer. And that shot blocked by Fisher. It was a good look for Gisholt, the center back, who has moved forward on this set piece. Earns a corner. Again, this is Thiago to take. Boston City ramping their pressure. A deep one, and the header goes well wide, but a whistle comes in first.
Frustrating for Boston there because that was a good opportunity there.
Looked like it was, I think, Barry who rose up, but the foul committed against Prego.
It's got to be a good touch here.
Threadgold obliges.
Really well done.
Bozzini marked well by Barry, but Threadgold wins it back.
I like the idea, though. He was looking for that one time over the top.
He's got willing runners on either side of him tonight with both Threadgold and O'Neal. That is pace on those wings.
Well, maybe the England national team could maybe watch one of these matches and see how it's done.
Ouch.
I know.
Just over 5 minutes in.
I had to say it.
Okay. The Green work hard to win it back. Leighton, Benny on the move. And a strong challenge exchange by Coelho. He and Benny Prego have certainly gotten familiar in the opening moments. Fisher the bluff. Great to see him back. Had missed a few.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it off air, but
that's deep towards O'Neal from Prego. Dealt with on the right hand.
It's a nice luxury to be able to also have Drexler, rotate between him and DA and Fisher. You can keep all three of them healthy and rotate them around a bit. Got some really, really good center back partnerships there.
Castro with Bozzini. Threadgold to his right. Tried to return it to him. Barry the slide challenge. Sam Leighton. Sam Leighton! Oh, absolutely struck. It's wide of the posts.
And it had the goalkeeper worried because he fully committed to that dive.
That was smacked. Sam Leighton has not scored in a green uniform. He does have 2 assists. That would have been something special. Away by Hall. Again, he's been the backup netminder for the University of New Hampshire the last 2 seasons. Bozzini wins the duel. Swung out wide. It's a foot race. Won by O'Neal, as he so often does. How about that challenge? That is a physical tackle by Doherty.
Got to time that absolutely right, too. Oh, and the footwork from Rodri.
Rodri, who had to miss the match with the Pioneers due to a red card. Back in there after starting as well against AC Connecticut. As this match is settled down for a moment or two, Matt, I think it deserves another shout out to the great fans on the far side. Again, just circling back to that women's match over the weekend. I was watching from afar. I know you were tuned in as well as Ryan and Christy were on the broadcast, but I was just another shout out to the quality of the match, the quality of the fans. I loved every second of it.
It's just so nice to know, too, that there is basically this, that there always was basically this want and this need for a higher level of soccer for both men and women.
Akko got the feed from Julian. Fisher's there on the slide. Now Prego throws in a challenge, and he gets the block on the attempted shot from Coelho. The break is on for City.
And I'd say it hasn't looked entirely too comfortable for Vermont. They're timing their tackles well, and they're playing very defensively, hard. But it's starting to get to the point where one of those might actually sneak through, and you don't want to see your defenders having to slide tackle too often in a match.
The Green have been stretched. The woodwork has been hit on the other side. Again, Prego's there on Coelho to get the block, and Benny asks Bozzini to chase it. When these two met earlier this season, the Green came away with a 3-0 victory. First time from O'Neal. Too much to ask for Castro.
I think he didn't. Well, Was that Castro? Yeah, O'Neal. It looked like Castro was about to overlap on the left side, but he didn't see it.
Now 2 for Prego to deal with. Tiago with Rodri chasing him. Couldn't get his pass away, and Benny settles it down.
This is what I like about Bazzini. His movement right there actually creates that pocket for him to run through into there.
That's Lee. He handled it, touched it with his right arm. It's a set piece coming for Vermont Green. Long distance out, but inside the attacking third just barely.
It feels like it's a little too far for a shot. It would have to be an absolute worldie for that to go in.
Even if David Beckham were standing over it, it would take something extra special. It is Castro with numbers loading up at the back post for the Creighton Blue Jay.
You're starting to see Prego just creep up a little bit here. And I'm curious if he's going to take a quick, strong pass over to him and then whip it in.
Castro looking for Rodri. Barry, the big man from Marshall, elevated to win the duel. Lee. Gisholt. Doherty, one of the 3 center backs. Lee pressed by Threadgold. Able to move it wide, Gisholt. Tiago. Fun battle there between Tiago and Rodri.
Yeah, it's good defensive shade from Vermont, though. Nothing that can go directly through and break 2 lines. Have to pass the ball backwards.
Akko did well to beat DA to it, but Prego has the ball settled with Coelho pressuring him. Castro checks to it. He drew the center back Barry with him. Now Castillo.
Oh, I was just about to say, if he gets that flick on, O'Neal is in.
O'Neal picks it up anyways, the speedster. Xavi O'Neal takes a tumble, but it's a handball going against O'Neal. He fell over the top of Lee, who tackled him legally.
Sounds like absolutely nobody agrees with that, but it happens.
Coelho cuts inside, an early ball, forces action from Montali. Looked like he was intending that one for Akko, the central forward.
But just before that, just before the tackle and the handball call, I really applaud the bravery of trying to play out of the back, and you see this movement. Nobody's necessarily static, so then that pocket does open up.
Threadgolds, and Bazzini this time has wandered.
I agree. He did look offsides to me.
There's spaces in both teams attacking midfields, though, Matt. It seems like Castro's finding openings, Tiago on the other side. Both teams finding some space to advance the ball.
Yeah. There's no lack of commitment from either team to try to get the first goal from here, and so you're starting to see more spaces in the middle.
And that's Akko trying to flick it. Nobody making the run. He wanted his wingback, Coelho, to make the dancing advance. This is towards Castro, tracked by Lee. And the green on the move forward. Castro, Castillo, goes to grounds. It's a goal kick.
I think he did get the ball from taking a look at it from here, the way that it deflected. I think it's the correct call.
Right on the edge of the area. Castillo has shown real quality with that left foot. Had 4 assists in the fall for VCU. Again, he and Ndie were both starters on the VCU back line, both first team all A-10 players. Powerful header from the Australian Leighton. Castro O'Neal can really run. He's got Doherty in front of him. He invites him to dance. Still it's Xavi O'Neal inside the area. Now numbers joining him. This is Castro. Jackson Castro surrounded.
The pass or the shot from there. It's just closed up. He had 3 players right in front of him. Now you just got to keep the ball moving. 1-2 touch. Keep it moving quick.
Benny likes this inside darting run. Benny Prego got tied up a bit with Rodri. Falls kindly Castro. O'Neal, one time Bazzini. He was offsides again and laid it off for Castro nicely.
But that's the idea, those 1 touches there to just open up that little space for a shot.
Fisher challenged it legally. And now Bazzini.
The thing I like about Elvis as our center official, as well as I've known Elvis for a very long time, and he does like the game to flow. He doesn't want to be, the star attraction or what everyone's talking about. He wants, he's okay with it being physical as long as it's, legal and kind of within the safety parameters.
Prego moving his way centrally again. Montali coming off a clean sheet in his last start against Western Mass. He and Jaheim Wickham have shared time between the pipes recently. O'Neal keeps it Rodri. O'Neal works with Leighton to move the ball to the right-hand wing. Castro. Prego the willing runner. Threadgold centrally, along with Bazzini. Prego skipping the challenges. Rodri. O'Neal. Xavi O'Neal in a wide spot. Couldn't get the shot away. Well blocked by the debutant, Pierce Julian. And it does end up squirting through where Hall snags it. The Green moving the ball quickly into the attacking end, Matt. Haven't quite had the same threat level since the opening moments where both Castro and Threadgold had good looks.
No, you're seeing Boston is now closing down on the ball a little bit quicker. That after that first initial 5-7 minutes from there, they kind of got alerted to that threat, and now they're starting to close a lot faster.
City man down behind the play. That's Gomez. In the meantime, O'Neal. Nobody really pooling up in the middle towards the attempted O'Neal cross. And it was Barry who met it. And DA. It's a physical matchup between Akko and Musa and DA. Two big bodies.
Yeah, it's a difficult prospect as a center back because you can't necessarily just foul him just because he's bigger. You have to do it right.
It was Rodri getting forward, but it's Barry who was quick to close him down. He's been the standout so far for the visitors. Well, Boston City hungry for any point tonight on the road against one of the top 3 teams in the division. This year, Matt, against the top 3 teams, Boston City have lost all 3 matches they've played, one against each of Seacoast, Western Mass, and Vermont. They've been outscored in those matches 13-1. Against the rest of the league, they have a win, 2 draws, and 2 losses, where their goal difference is only -1. They're much more competitive when they've gotten away from the top of those table moments.
Right. And I guess that tells a story of the division, that there's just a little bit of gulf in, basically the quality that you have within your starting 11 and maybe even the bench from there, because you do have to rotate from there, and that might just be the story for Boston.
Currently in 8th, but they're very competitive in that middle of the pack. Castro. Oh, Bazzini. Lovely first touch. And a second. Yaniv Bazzini carrying it to his left foot. He goes to ground, and it's a set piece earned. Yaniv Bazzini doing what Matt thinks he might do his best, drawing those fouls.
It's a funny thing to highlight so much of, but honestly, every time that he gets the ball, he either gets a shot away, or he gets away from his player, or he draws the foul.
Bazzini, what a delightful first touch it was. And he's the one to immediately place it, Matt. This is close to the goal, perhaps, but beautiful angle for the right foot of Yaniv Bazzini. He's got 9 league goals, tied with 4 others for second in all of USL2. Only the Western Massachusetts Pioneer man, Alec Hughes, has more. He's sitting on 11. Five in the wall. Organized by Cameron Hall. Is it Bazzini? In the 20th minute. It's saved by Hall. He went with the low one to the far post, Matt.
Well, I think he was a little too close to try to go over the wall and maybe curl it to the left side, to his left, Bazzini's left.
Good job by Hall, though, right? No rebounds given.
Yep.
Plenty of vultures were there for the green. Rodri can't drag it with him. And Prego diving in commits the foul.
And this is the Elvis I know. Like I said, you can't necessarily be disrespectful or have, disrespectful words or anything or dissent. He will have a conversation with you.
Not the first time that Benny's been warned tonight. Also committed an early challenge about 2 minutes in that warranted a discussion.
Well read by
Sam Layton. How about that?
Yeah, very well. Because I think everyone was a little distracted just from that little interaction, and then he saw what was coming.
Layton trying to chip that one towards Bazzini, not on the same page. Castro's been all over the ball, I feel like.
He really has, yeah.
Best we've seen him, I think.
He's covered every quadrant so far.
He has starred for Creighton, yet to break through on the score sheet in a green uniform. His 6th start this summer for the green. We've seen him as a winger. We've seen him alongside Bazzini in the attacking midfield, now playing as number 10.
Tonight's the night. Bazzini's going to get the assist. Castro's going to get the goal.
Mark it.
Ooh.
Pretty.
Lovely football.
And guess who's got it? Castro from Layton. Outside of the foot, sprayed for Castillo. And the green are on the march. Castillo trying to dance by Julian, and Pierce Julian takes it away. He strides across midfield.
I was going to say, it looks like he's got the wheels. Try to take on Layton there.
He's making his debut for Boston City. Impressive so far as he's worked as really that right wing back, but hasn't exactly been a defensive posture, a back five like we thought it might be.
No, because, it's kind of been a little bit back and forth, a little bit sharper on the edge towards, getting a goal, I'd say, to Green. But otherwise, there's still been plenty of breakaways for Boston and some threat there.
Threadgold checks to it. Tried a dummy one for Bazzini. Hall, who made one early save, was helped out by either side of his woodwork on the Threadgold chance. I still can't believe that one didn't go. There's that battle between Ndie and Akko. It's a throw in for the green.
And you can see, Akko's kind of playing a similar role as like Bazzini, where he'll check in, and if he sees runners potentially going to go past him, he'll try to flick it on with his head, or he's, big and strong. He can take it down with his chest and try to bring up the midfield.
And it's Fisher relieving some pressure over the head of Gischel, so it's played out of the air by Barry, and then Rodri. Taken from Layton by Gomez. Prego wins it back. Quick with his feet, Layton.
Prego with the little feet. It's impressive.
Tippy tap on his way through. Musa Ndie wants to stampede. Can't weave it for O'Neal. And again, the wrestling match between Akko and Ndie. They are up for that battle.
Yeah, it's gonna be one to watch throughout the match.
Musa Ndie, the USL2 Player of the Month in May, has been a regular in the green side, has played in every game. Benny Prego, Castro, man on him quickly, gets it for Threadgold. Gabe Threadgold towards Bazzini. It reaches O'Neal. Still Xavi O'Neal. Bazzini the bike!
Get out of here! Get out of here!
Bazzini, you bad man! His 10th of the season in style!
Unreal, Brian. And I thought it was a little bit too low. I was like, oh no, he's not going to be able to get onto that.
A Bazzini bike!
What a goal to break the deadlock.
This guy can score any way you want.
He loves a volley. I'll tell you what. He's got the crowd up on their feet, obviously.
I tell you what, Matt, it was probably one of the worst first touches I've seen him take.
I know, right?
Pops it up in the air like he meant to do it.
I mean, that's what good strikers make it look like. They're like, yeah, totally, I meant to do that.
Well, the Green have the opener in a match that has featured chances end to end. City don't need to change much, do they? It feels like they've created some decent chances that they want.
No, I don't think they changed much of their approach, and right here is a really good ball.
Coella the step on Prego. Benny the closing speed. And Prego the one who wins the foul. He and Coella really tangled up. Was it Alfie Bjorgolfsson who scored a bicycle kick in the first season of Vermont Green football?
I believe so, yeah.
Well, at the time, he had set the Green club record in goals.
Was it 14?
That one, he got to 9. He and Nwegbo were sitting at that just under 10. Bazzini now 10th in the season. It's a single season record. He's got 17 career Green goals, 16 in USL 2 play. Scored 1 in the US Open Cup. He got an assist in that competition as well.
Sign him up for his whole career.
Xavi O'Neal. Tackled back by Julian. And Julian striding through the midfield. Reed, Fisher just steps on it.
He had a little bit of a shout, too, that there was potentially a little bit of impediment on his run, and I honestly would have agreed if it was called, but it's unlucky. It was just a little bit of a heavy touch.
Bazzini handles the pressure from Barry.
Just rides it.
Doherty handles it out of the air. Castro brings it down. Jackson Castro. Castro! Oh! It's a screamer! Jackson Castro!
What is going on? Oh, I almost feel bad for Bazzini. He just takes the spotlight off of it. We were just starting to settle down there.
Jackson Castro! Top shelf.
He got his first goal.
You called it.
He got his first goal. Was it Bazzini that assisted?
Technically, the assist would likely go to Leighton if one's awarded.
Right.
Castro brought the ball down after it was popped up in the air by Doherty.
Absolutely pinpoint placement, too.
Well, the Green.
Nothing lucky about it, you know? That was just a really, really good strike.
Probably the 2 best goals they've scored all season.
Keeper was in good position for it, too. It was just, it dropped off the dinner table right there into the top corner.
Jackson Castro, that was something unlike what we've seen this year. What a goal. After the Bazzini bicycle acrobatics, a Jackson Castro crasher.
Oh, thank God. I've forgotten about the France and England draws.
Nope.
Fireworks. That is in the past now.
Well, I tell you what, you heard in the interview with Coach Pfeiffer, just the energy that the women's match brought his guys, he felt like. Called it his best 2 days of training all year following the women's match.
That's wonderful to hear, too.
Playing like they were inspired by those ladies. I mean, this has been a different level of play so far.
Yeah, and, speaking with club leadership, it sounds like they want to continue and, build on that. So maybe potentially next year we get 2, maybe 3 matches or something. See who we can kind of bring down and showcase as well.
Keep an eye out for things like that on the horizon for the Green.
But yeah, I agree. I think that energy, especially if they were to start to play a little bit more often, or they're around the camp, and you're both talking to each other about how the teams are doing, giving each other advice. It's more of a community feel.
The energy in this community Felt like it really reached a fever pitch over the weekend. Yaniv Bazzini and Jackson Castro said, we want to join in on that fun. And the Green have the ball back in control. Well, if you want to call tonight maybe the start of the home stretch, 5 matches remaining in the regular season, including tonight, Matt. It's been quite the announcement so far with the way the Green have started.
This is exactly what you want out of this match, especially now that there was only 5 left. Get some absolutely wonderful goals, play some good football.
That's a foul called on Barry as he wrestled with Bazzini. Another chance for the Green to throw something into the box, perhaps. They'll take it quickly. Prego and Threadgold felt they had some numbers. Prego, so quick. Bit awkward for Layton.
Well done from Layton. Oh, if that comes off and...
Just offsides, flag up.
I was going to say, what vision.
Fisher, work to do with Akko closing down. Castro works really hard to take it back from the central midfielder Guarcas.
It looks like as the half kind of wears on a little bit, Boston are almost just bypassing the midfield if it's not very clear and open for them, and they're trying to play that long ball.
Oh, what a run. Xavi O'Neal is on the move. Bazzini couldn't quite collect the rebounds. Strong hands from Hall.
I think it's just unfortunate because it looked like it was kind of just right at him. Just place it, low or just to his left or his right. Make him work. Make him commit to one side.
And there's Layton. You're right, Matt. It feels like Rodri a bit higher up the pitch. Layton has been sitting a bit deeper. The two of them have worked well together, I think, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that's kind of what you want out of it. You want somebody who plays a little bit more defensive-minded, who's a little bit more conservative with the ball, tries to keep it tight, he tries to keep it safe, make sure that we keep possession. Rodri, does a lot of those same things, but he also likes to be a little bit more adventurous. He's very good on dribbling on the ball. He likes to have a shot. He likes to get in and potentially create, passing sequences and like an assist.
Castro. Bazzini! Well blocked by Doherty. And Guarcas away from Threadgold. Another good look for the Star Green striker.
And Boston just can't seem to get out of their half.
And Thiago, frustrated, felt as if the ball was won. O'Neal begging for it, eventually gets it from the captain, Musa Ndiaye. Layton was inches from opening the scoring as well. His crack from deep.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot about that.
Just remembered it.
Yeah.
And now he's in. Sam Layton. Layton across! Can't believe he pulled it wide. Castro is seeing things that nobody else is. He unlocked that thing and had Layton in on goal.
And I think it just completely caught Austin off guard because Layton made that run from so deep that everyone already had basically their marks, and he came through right in there, and Castro saw it. Castro's having a hell of a half so far.
He has been, to me, the player to watch. His first goal somehow topping Yaniv Bazzini's. The 2 goals coming maybe 5 minutes apart, if that.
I am sad that we're not able to see Gatto for a little bit, though.
Unavailable tonight. Gatto, another one who's impressed in limited action. Thiago navigates the Green midfield. Lee returns it. Pretty work there from City. Just gets caught up under the feet of Lee.
Just a little behind him.
And now numbers swarming forward for the Green. Bazzini Runners to either side. Chooses O'Neal. O'Neal with the defender pinch. Xavi O'Neal!
Did he get a hand?
Hall was scrambling, didn't get a touch. It's a goal kick. Xavi wants in on the party.
I was just thinking about Bazzini, though, and that's what he does so well is, he can come and check in and receive the ball, and then he can dribble and hold it up just long enough for everyone else to start to keep that in.
Swung something to the back post. It did just leak out for a green goal kick. Musa Ndiaye.
I was just noticing something on the side there. Fisher having a conversation with the center official, talking about, I think, what it looked like he was basically talking about a hand that was, holding his shirt for it. And it's like those little things that some players just don't do. They just don't communicate that to the center official. They don't maybe communicate that to anybody. But that gets into their head, so now they're actually looking for that. So maybe the next time that there's that same sort of opportunity, the center official is going to be looking for exactly what Fisher was just talking about.
Meanwhile, Bazzini does what Bazzini does, draws a foul. That's interesting, that. We'll have to keep an eye out on that from Reed Fisher. But Bazzini and company, goals for both Bazzini and Castro. Stunning goals as well, not just your typical tap-ins.
Which one was your favorite so far?
It's hard to say anything besides Jackson Castro.
You can take your time.
Somebody show me something even better.
Right?
Somebody else do it.
Let's make this a real competition, guys. Halftime speech.
What you got from here, Benny?
Halftime speech.
Want to let one fly right now? That might top it.
Who can beat those two?
It has been pretty football played by the Green. Leighton has been in the middle of it, so is Castro. O'Neal loves this wide spot. He can go on the attack. He's giving Doherty headaches. O'Neal again coming over to help out Barry. Made the block. And now Thiago with a bit of room. Looking for help.
Nobody necessarily showing that. But otherwise he didn't have any options out wide. Now he can look to potentially spray it, but well read.
That's Coelho, who was beaten to it by Castillo. Now look at Xavi run. Can't quite get the step on Doherty. Well done by the right-sided center back.
Remind me who the center back is that's been marking O'Neal as well. I thought he's had a good match actually so
Ryan
far.
Doherty on the right-hand side.
He's put tight pressure on O'Neal, and O'Neal's really had to kind of he's had one, I think, pretty uncontested shot where he kind of put it back on his right foot, and it wasn't bad. It was just, that's really all he's been able to do so far in this first half.
And Rodri bundles over Gomez. The Portuguese international Rodri. The one called for the foul. Looks like this will be the left foot of Pablo Gomez to take it. Boston City looking to get back in this match. They had some real moments on the break inside the first 5 minutes. Since then, it has been all Green. Gomez a deep one. Montali calls it and grabs it.
It's not enough English, not enough whip on that ball from there to make it really, really dangerous. Potentially Boston getting their head on that. Easily read by Montali.
Rodri immediately going deep. And O'Neal a step off sides. Ever so slightly too early from Xavi.
I wasn't looking, so I won't contest that call. It just kind of looked like he came from behind, but
he's got speed for days.
Right.
Doesn't need a head start to get by you. Xavi O'Neal, the youngster from Boston College. We were talking pregame. He was away with the DC United U23 team. Actually recently played an indoor scrimmage against the United States men's national team in their lead up to Copa America. So Xavi making his return to the lineup after missing the last two.
I don't envy him playing down in Maryland heat with DC though. It's my old stomping grounds.
It's indoors. They can air condition it.
It was all indoors.
That's what they say, a closed door scrimmage. So
that's weird. It's summer. I mean, it's probably blazing.
I would imagine.
Oh.
That was nifty.
There's just been a lot of confidence from everyone so far, but especially Benny and Rodri. Just everyone seems to be really, really confident in their game to actually take on a player in these tight little spaces.
We know, and at their best, Benny and Rodri, they feed off each other.
Right.
Two of them have played together for a long time at Franklin Pierce.
They do connect a lot.
Most recently at Providence, both of them from Portugal.
Did I hear Madeira for Prego?
I'm not sure.
I think I heard he was from Madeira. Do you know who else is from Madeira?
Who else
Brian?
is from Madeira, Matt? Tell me.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Ever heard of him?
Ever heard of him?
I don't have anything to...
It just sounded like it was right.
Sure. O'Neal, space down the line from Castillo. Oh, he let it leak a half step too much. Across the touchline. It's the assistant referee all the way out near midfield that spotted it. Right in front of the Green Mountain boys, they sound displeased.
Yes, it doesn't sound like they agree.
Disagreeable tonight.
Looks like Coach Adam as well does not agree.
Lee took it back from Castillo. Akko. And Lee goes pinwheeling along the sideline. He's fouled.
And it's frustrating. I think Okoa is a little frustrated there because he looked like he was going to actually win that ball. And then you saw two players were actually coming up the middle, one down the left side and then one up the middle. And that was actually going to look pretty dangerous if he could, get his head up and look across.
What a tackle from Leighton. Bazzini, an angled ball that doesn't meet Threadgold's. Should be a corner.
Watch out.
And the Green do have a corner kick. Here's a chance from a set piece for Reed Fisher to get involved, Matt. 2 assists for him on the year. Both have come from corners. He has been the target man for the Green when he's out there to try to start their action off of these.
He's going to go right to that back post. If it comes right to him, he's just going to pump it right back across that 6.
He had a beautiful flick against AC Connecticut that set up Rodri for his first goal in the Green.
No, he's going front.
Castro is looking deep towards Rodri, and it's Hall. And now the Green might be caught.
This is dangerous here, Brian.
Tiago.
Look at Fisher sprinting back as hard as he
Leighton,
can.
Fisher, and D.A. all hustling. Here goes Julian. And Sam Leighton called for the foul.
Don't know if I agree with that, but there were hands, so we're just going to roll with it.
It's Julian who's drawn the free kick here, and this is in a dangerous spot. Inside the 45th minute now.
Yeah, this is very dangerous right here. This is just far enough out where they can get over basically that line, put it right there kind of on the back post.
The dream ball would be something low to the back post, right?
Well, yeah, just between where the goalkeeper's standing right now and then basically Vermont Green's line. Try to whip it in really hard, really fast, somewhere around that blue circle.
Just begging for a touch. It's Tiago.
Don't agree with that.
He got it over the wall, but not back down.
Yeah, that's frustrating. You could see the look on his manager's face. Just frustrating.
Tiago with 5 goals on the year for Boston City. Hearing 1 minute of extra time.
Sounds about right. Hasn't been a lot of drama.
Pretty stuff there.
Great ball from Leighton there. Nice little touch.
Rodri trying to feed Castro. And Threadgold's couldn't turn into any space. Coelho and Castillo battling. It's another Green free kick. Inside the final minute of this opening half. Might be the final action, in fact. They take it on the ground. Well, a couple of stunners in this opening half, Matt. What else has stood out to you aside from two just gorgeous goals?
I thought it's actually been a really good defensive display again. You know, there's been, maybe I would say like the first 5-10 minutes, there was a couple moments there where a lot of the players had to kind of go to ground, make some strong tackles for you. You got to get those absolutely right. And like I said, you don't really want to see your
Xavi O'Neal, that was knuckling.
You don't really want to see your defenders going to ground too often, especially within a match from it. They should be able to position themselves and read the game so that they can intercept it or just make a standing tackle from there. But yeah, I would say another good defensive performance.
Goals from Bazzini and Castro. Thread gold hit each post. Sam Layton almost added one himself. A first half for Vermont Green that was about as perfect as they could have hoped. Boston City were threatening, but they're scoreless at the break. As it stands, the 3 points belong to the Green. We'll be back for the second half with 45 minutes to play in Burlington.
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I made the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
I am the sauce.
Who brought the sauce?
I brought the sauce.
Who made the sauce?
I got the sauce.
What's in the sauce?
Human nature is a master at making a big mess. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th generation Safer Choice certified dish formula helps remove stuck-on food with one unstoppable pack. That's the power of 7th generation.
I work at Suncommon, and we are here today in Worcester on the north branch of the Winooski River, and we are planting 1,122 trees today.
The pandemic has left us spending less time together, and so this is really a good opportunity to connect with old colleagues and meet new people as well. And one of the reasons we're planting trees is because it does sequester carbon. It is about climate action, and so this is just another way that we get to do that work.
Trees are really, really important wildlife habitat in river areas. So this is what we call a riparian forest buffer is what we're creating today. In addition to all the wildlife habitats, this is a really good water quality project to slow down water and let some sediment drop out before it gets to the river.
I know that planting this one tree might not do a lot, but when all of us work together, we just planted a whole forest, basically. It's really, really, really cool.
This is the first adaptive friendly trail network that's being built from design to execution. Suncommon volunteers are here tonight, as well as some new volunteers from all around.
If you make a trail that rides well for an adaptive bike, it's going to ride well for two-wheeled bikes as well.
My name is Greg Durso, and I'm riding the Reactive Adaptations Hammerhead. There's a lot of common misconceptions when it comes to what adaptive or accessible trails are. For us though, when we say accessible, it just means enough room for our bikes to get down it. So we don't want our trails dumbed down, we just want them just a little bit wider, a little bit more attainable for us to use. I'm paralyzed, I'm a T4 paraplegic, so I can't walk. So this bike enables me to get out there and start riding. When I get out of my wheelchair and I get into my bike, I kind of feel like Superman, and I love that feeling. It gets me into places that I can never get into that my wheelchair can't take me.
Suncommon has been an amazing partner in this project. We already surpassed the point that we thought we would reach by the end of the season, and a lot of that's just thanks to Suncommon.
It takes a community, it takes a lot of people to be out there, and you're really doing good for everyone. You're sustaining these trails, making new trails, making mountain biking more accessible for everybody.
The goal here is net zero, so all of the energy consumed here I want to come from the roof, and I chose Suncommon very specifically. This is just a smarter way to buy energy. All my yard equipment is electric and battery operated. I mean, every morning when I come out now, I look back and I go, yep, that sunlight is falling from the sky and that energy is being put into that car as we speak, which, I don't know, doesn't get much cooler. Riding on sunshine.
The beauty of grass is that you have to look at it as every blade of grass being a solar panel. And that grass is absorbing sun's energy the entire time there's sun out.
Being a small farm, we don't have the scale of cash flows that a lot of larger farms have. So for us to be able to stay in business, it's important that we're able to utilize every one of our spaces as efficiently and as profitably as we can. Our rooftops were something that really hadn't served us any purpose, but now that they can actually produce the amount of electricity that we need to run the farm, that's just, it was a no-brainer. Dairy is something that I can firmly stand behind. I believe that it is very nutritious, very good for you, and done right, I believe that it's also good for the environment.
I think we're at the point now that it'd be crazy not to have solar. When we decided that we were going to use a commercial company instead of doing it ourselves, which was an option, I did research on SunCommon. Because I don't know that I trust lots of solar power companies. And, you know, it's a big project. There's so many things that can go wrong. I wanted a company that I felt good about.
We're filming.
We understand what local issues are.
Other credit unions might offer like the VHFA and the Champlain Housing Trust, but it's cool that we have our own product.
It's called home ownership made easier. It essentially gets somebody into a house who does not have a down payment. There's a lot of lenders who are not willing to take a look at the type of transactions that are going in there. But the fact is Vermonters live in those communities.
Every second, Vermonters spend $20 with Amazon. That's $20 going to someone you don't know and will never meet. You are just an order number to Amazon. $20 every second. That means every minute, Vermonters are spending $1,100 with Amazon. You might as well throw it in the trash. It's time to change. Let's keep this $1,100 in our Vermont economy. Mighty is an online shopping platform that keeps money in the local community. You order things, it comes from independent retailers nearby, it's dropped to your doorstep. Together, we can change online shopping for good. Visit Mighty, MYTI.com to get started.
Make progress by doing the things you love. If you can farm, fight food deserts. If you can surf, surf for racial justice. Like to read? Start a banned book club. Protest with an ice cream cone or project new meaning on an outdated statue. Get in a costume, but try not to get arrested. You have the tools for doing good, and the greatest tool is your own unique flavor. Ben & Jerry's. Make some mother truckin' change.
Human nature's ability to contain itself is questionable. Thankfully, nature is powerful enough to save us from ourselves. 7th Generation's bio-based detergent goes deep to help break apart and wash away tough stains. That's the power of 7th Generation.
On a Wednesday night in Burlington, Vermont, another outstanding crowd as Brian McLaughlin and Matt Montel welcome you back to Virtue Field. 2 stunning goals in a first half, Matt, that was back and forth in moments, but then at other times it was all Vermont as they dominate on the scoreline up 2-0. We talked about it at the end of the half. They really were able to control the play. You liked the way they built up and cut through the midfield. 45 minutes to go, though. 3 points is still the goal, and you can't forget about that, but how do you try to keep that up? It feels like you just want to almost
dangerous.
Copy and paste exactly what you did in that half.
Yeah, there's an old cliche that you've probably heard where, the 2-0 lead is the hardest lead to hold from it. And some of it doesn't even make sense, that school of thought from it. But honestly, at this point, especially now that, they've got that lead, they've got the 3 points almost in the bag, there's 45 minutes left. Now you really don't want to give up that next goal. Because then when it's 2-1, it starts to get a little dicey from there, because then all you're thinking about is, well, what happens if we accidentally leak a second goal and then it's tied? Boston will be, thrilled to kind of just walk away with potentially 1 point from there, or they drop in, they lock in instead of, they've been trying to get into the attack, so they've been a little bit open. That's why we've seen so many different chances created.
There is going to be a change for the visitors. Boston City making one adjustment to their lineup. Matt, we're in another predicament. Did not get the number 20 on the pregame roster. Brian. So I'm not sure who number 20 is yet. We'll work hard to figure that out for you. I think it may be Owen Seward. We'll see.
That was not what I was thinking.
I could be wrong. Regardless, Boston City FC start half number 2. In control, trailing by a pair. They're chasing this game now, Matt. It felt like not all that much changed from them, but what do you think that they could adjust to try to get back in it?
I think at this point, where they're standing within the division point, so the leash is off. They can basically go for it, and what's the difference of really losing 2-0 or potentially 4-0?
Right.
It means nothing at that point.
That's kind of fun in that instance.
Yeah, it should still be open.
Okay, so Owen Seward is in the game. He's at right back. Still a bit unsure of number 20. Number 22, though, is Seward, playing on the right back spot. Here's Xavi O'Neal. I know him. Jackson Castro. Bazzini stumbling. And they'll bring it back for a free kick.
And again,
He
drawing
lost his
those
shoe.
fouls. Yeah, exactly.
Played quickly by the green.
Interesting. It felt like it was a good distance for a shot, but I like this.
Here comes Xavi to the end line.
Ooh.
Bazzini flicks it. Castro!
Oh! Head in hands. He can't believe it. He wants that back so bad.
Gorgeous from the green again.
I like the quick play, though. I initially thought that was, within a good distance for a shot, but they said Rodri, I think, played it pretty much immediately. O'Neal with the ball across, and Bazzini with that wonderful little flick, that diagonal to the middle.
Bazzini, just a magician sometimes.
He just really pulls it all together.
Just when you can't think he can't find any finer form, feels like he finds another gear.
He's the rug that brings the room together, Brian.
Well, that's quite kind of you. I think he's more the maybe shiny, glamorous something that brings it all together.
Up for debate.
We'll work on that analogy.
We'll let Twitter decide.
Okay. The trophy case that brings it all together?
Right.
Something like that.
We need a trophy.
That would be the point, yeah.
We got all the maple syrup. Now we need a trophy.
The syrup case.
Yeah, the syrup case.
It is Maxime Chris on the right-hand side wearing number 20.
Oh, unlucky. It's kind of funny. Bazzini also doesn't look like he's super fast in those first 2-3 steps, but once he gets going, then it's all of a sudden just like chasing a horse. Great touch. Great touch from Castro there.
Here goes Castro again. And again, just not quite right with his lefts. He's been so solid so far. He's looking for that brace. Does it feel like he and Bazzini in particular, I know they didn't link up right there, Matt, but in the best season of Jackson Castro's collegiate career, he played with Duncan McGuire, now of the MLS, and Duncan McGuire was the best scorer in college soccer by a wide margin that year. Castro was his right-hand man, scoring 10 goals with 7 assists. Does it feel like maybe he and Bazzini in particular are combining tonight?
Yeah, I mean, so far it looks like there's a good little understanding developing between the both of them. Both their movements are complementing each other.
Threadgold, Bazzini! Oh. What a goal! Gabe Threadgold a dime, and Bazzini buries it with the header.
Put a bow tie on it, Brian. It's going to be a long second half for Boston at this point.
Rodri tiptoed through the midfield. Threadgold, the right-footed ball. Give Gabe Threadgold his second assist of the year. And now Bazzini has matched Alec Hughes in the race for the Golden Boot. They've got 11 goals each. It's an easy header, Matt, in the end for Bazzini, just guiding it in. But again, he scores in a variety of ways. Earlier, the bicycle. We've seen him on his right and his left foot this year. And the aerial threat there for the Star Green striker. He just keeps finding himself in those spots.
He's got the full catalog of goals, like he said, too. You know, he can volley really well. He's very good in the air. He's got everything in his locker. And it's just been an absolute pleasure having him up front.
So Bazzini's got a brace. Only scored 1 goal against AC Connecticut in the last time out for the Green. This is Lee picking it up on that poor cross from Fisher. But that actually went across the sideline.
Did it look like it went out?
Before Fisher played it back to the middle, that went out along the far side. It's a throw-in. Big challenge from Leighton on Akko. He's onside. Fisher goes to ground and gets the block. And Leighton plays it out for the throw. It was Coelho who started the attack.
I like that Elvis let that play on, though, just so, you know, I didn't want to necessarily see just the free kick from there. It looked like it was going to be a dangerous ball.
And now a free kick with Leighton bear hugging Akko on the edge of the area. This is a chance to provide some service.
What I'm looking for here is that same concentration defensively that we've been seeing in the whole first half for much of this season, to be honest. Keep the 3-0 lead and try to build on that. You have to be ruthless at these moments.
And it looks like it will be Coelho to send it across. Rodri deals with it. Gorkas. Chris.
Well done from, is that Owen? No.
It was Chris who won it from Castillo. Now look at Gabe Threadgold's run. He's got Rocket strapped to his boots.
Good play. Didn't have anything necessarily forward from it. Oh, just unlucky.
Barely a half step ahead of Rodri. Lee scooped it back. Now Akko in some room. Fights through the jersey tug from Rodri. Thiago. Coelho. This is Gisholt. And then Lee loses out. And now it's Benny Prego on a burst.
Drive in. There you go.
Bazzini's out wide. Xavi O'Neal entering the picture. Bazzini sitting on a hat trick, going solo. Castro asks for it.
Silky.
Bit too slow there from Castro. But he keeps the ball and works it backwards.
And this timed possession, this just creates more and more tired legs for Boston at this point because they're down 3-0. They have to go and try and press and win the ball, and right now Vermont just has time. You can hear, you know, their coaching staff imploring their players to go and put pressure on the ball, to step.
Leighton tried to punch it towards Castro. Castillo couldn't control it out of the air. A rare poor touch from Rodri. Advantage played. It's picked up by Tiago. There's a runner, Chris on his right-hand side. Musa and Dieg. That's about right from him.
You shall not pass.
And Castro goes first time. O'Neal can really run. O'Neal, he wants that right foot. Still Xavi O'Neal in a blender. O'Neal! I think that was a shot or an attempted pass.
I don't know. I think it was a shot because it was a little too high, a little too strong. I thought he would have kind of just gone diagonal and across.
Akko able to muscle it through for Chris. He's got Tiago to his left. Maxine Chris. Coelho wide. Dancing on it, Coelho. Too much on the pass for Gisholt. And more changes coming for the visitors. They made 2 at halftime. Unhappy with how this has gone, apparently. Roger with options. Castro. Prego sees some space to carry it. Never shy to go on the attack. Castro combining with Threadgold. Threadgold's already one assist, was looking for Bazzini. Play continues through Prego. Benny Prego slaloming. Gisholt challenges and wins it. And now Akko told to get up by the central official, Reed Fisher.
He's been taking a lot of hits this whole match. He's a tough guy.
O'Neal to the byline. O'Neal to the back post. It's Castro with the brace. O'Neal with the wonderful run. And this time Castro does not miss.
Well, earlier, Brian, just about a minute ago, I'd been watching O'Neal because he had been holding really, really wide, and he kept asking for the ball. He was raising his hand out there, and he held his space out there, and then finally it came over, and he did exactly what he intended to do.
He loves those wide spots.
Good finish, too, from Castro, because that ball was coming.
Well, the Green are putting together one of their finest performances of the year. Of course, everyone remembers the AC Connecticut win in which they throttled them with a 7-0 victory. But part of that context to that one was AC Connecticut showed up late. They only really had 15 minutes to warm up. The Green tonight just taking it to Boston City. 2 each for Bazzini and Castro. Jair White, the Merrimack Warrior, comes on in the midfield for the visitors.
You can see the frustration on some of the Boston City players coming off now from that halftime. I don't know if it's personal frustration that they haven't been able to do what they intended to do, or it's because they're getting subbed from there. It's just now the negativity is just truly set in.
João Barbosa Filho, the Brazilian, also has entered in their attacking midfield. Tiago moving into the number 9 spot in the formation, previously occupied by Akko. Still no changes for the Green, and why would you? If you're Adam Pfeiffer, obviously he's going to make a few adjustments, but things have just been clicking.
Looking down over to our right, it looks like there's going to be potentially three substitutions coming.
I see Jacob Leibovitz up and moving. Looks like Siad Haji has stripped off his warm-up gear. Jan Twali, who's got an assist in his lone Green appearance.
I think it'll be a swap out Bazzini for Leibovitz. Haji, I think maybe potentially for O'Neill, or what do you think? Thread gold?
Yeah, it could be. I would guess thread gold.
Yeah. That's right. He played primarily on the right.
At least that's what we've seen him operate in. Or maybe, who knows, maybe to try him at the number 10 for Castro. Castro and Bazzini each have a brace. Oh, looks like Muhammad Ibrahim, the youngster, just 18 years old, headed to VCU in the fall, is also expected to enter. They call him Mo Ibra.
Mo Ibra.
So 4 attacking changes, I think, are about to come from Adam Pfeiffer and Chris Taylor. Meanwhile, a free kick from Philo. Didn't get that one right.
Reload.
And reset. Looks like Nick Lockerman as well. There might be 5 changes in total for the Green.
I think that's the most I've seen, and one change from it.
Bazzini and Castillo combining nicely.
Oh,
what a ball from Castillo. Barely a step too far for Threadgold. Castro joining the party.
I guess when you have somebody as fast as...
Oh, Castro gets it to his right. Castro.
I guess when you have somebody as fast as Threadgold running on it, you could just put it into space somewhere there. But that was a great ball.
With some rain starting to sprinkle down on Virtue Fields. There's a rainstorm of changes coming.
Castro looking to be only the 3rd person in Vermont Green history to get himself a hat-trick. Stephen Uengo with 1, Bazzini with 2. Castro potentially.
And now the substitution.
All right, so I've got Jacob Leibovitz, Jan Twali. Twali, the international from the Ivory Coast, played at Hill College, also played for CS Laurent. The Green will meet in a friendly. Bazzini off, O'Neill off, Leighton off, Castro off, and Threadgold off. Looks like Twali on the left.
Yep,
Ibra entering maybe at the number 10.
Castro's position.
Haji to the right.
Threadgold's position.
Lockerman, the German, in the middle for Leighton, and Leibovitz up top for Bazzini.
Yeah.
So a German, 2 Americans, a man from the Ivory Coast and a man from Ghana. Nick Lockerman right on it. His first touch.
Oh.
He thought it took a deflection.
I don't know if I still think there was a shot, but it almost looked like it was actually just a really strong pass to Ibra.
Well, Nick Lockerman does have a flair for the dramatic. The America East Rookie of the Year as a Vermont Catamount. An older rookie, 21 years old, from Germany. He has stepped in nicely in the defensive midfield for the Green, pairing with both Leighton and now Rodri.
And 5 substitutions, the only thing that I can think of is it's going to take a little bit of time, potentially, for everyone to kind of get some rhythm. You just changed half the team, so.
The whole attacking formation, essentially. Jair White skips around and finds Doherty. This is the pressure from Ibra. He's headed to VCU this fall too, joining Ndie, Gatto, Castillo, joining a really talented VCU team.
Castillo reading that ball too, almost telegraphed. I looked at the player right before he passed it, and Castillo could just read it.
He just feels like such a natural left back.
Right.
It's had a strong showing. Rodri through for Leibovitz. Prego moving forward. Haji's wide with him. What a move from Benny. Prego.
Oh, nobody there.
Deep, and Twali just not quite arriving. That was teasing towards the back post.
Note to self, expect it to come from Prego. Be there.
Similar to the goal for Bazzini, his second, the team's third on the feed from Threadgold. Twali steps in and toes it out. Here's Ibra. Haji making the run. Roger couldn't find him. And now the Green are just firmly in control, not just on the scoreboard, Matt, but it's been a while since City's last threat. Been a minute since Francesco Montali had something even close to a look.
I think the last tackle I remember from either Fisher or Ndia. Ndia had the one big one, but that might have been even just the first half.
He wins it back there. Rodri, Lockerman. Now Twali, Jan Twali on his favorite right foot, combining with Mo Ibra. Ibra's quick, swirling in the middle, and it's Doherty who deals.
He's small, Ibra, but he's actually kind of he's so low and centered to the ground that he's actually stronger than he looks.
Been able to maneuver a few tackles.
Gets his legs in there.
The youngest of the Green, only recently got added to the roster after dealing with just some paperwork. Siad Haji, who once started at VCU, probably a good mentor for the likes of Ibrahim.
Right.
The number 2 overall pick in the MLS draft a few years ago was Haji. What a player, Musa Ndiaye.
Effortless.
Closed the grounds, perfect first touch.
Wasn't even looking over there, and he just zoomed in.
Jan Twali
What
somehow
a turn.
keeps it. Twali, a burst. Jan Twali, a solo charge.
Oh,
big time tackle. That was Barry. What a run. Thiago just couldn't handle it. Castillo ripped it from him. It is waves of pressure and attacking options.
Just literally just resetting, just recycling the attack now.
Here it comes again. They found lots of space down this left-hand side recently. Twali's been in the heart of it. Jan Twali!
Take a
right-footed strike for 5. The Green.
Oh, and we got the flip.
Flip again. They are pouring it on now.
And that's what I was kind of a little bit worried about. It was just once it got to 3-0 after about what was it, 7 minutes in or something short amount of time after that, your heads go down. I was watching some of the players. I think it was Oka. He was just very verbal about his disappointment. And then when you have probably one of your leaders, like your big center striker, who I could tell he is probably one of their leaders, when he's just being so negative about the whole situation, it's really difficult for everyone else to kind of pick their game up. That's when captains need to pick you up.
Well, it has just been tough sledding for Boston City against the big 3 of the Northeast Division. Allowed 3 goals against Vermont Green in a shutout to start their year. They were shut out 4-0 by Seacoast United. Recently allowing 6 goals to Western Massachusetts. Now a 5 spot surrendered to the Green.
Well, this will definitely potentially help the goal differential between Western Mass and,
Of course, with those playoffs at the forefront of all attention for the Green at this point, that is the context that we will talk to you throughout the rest of the season, the lens that we're viewing it through. Points per match is really the statistic that matters the most, because it could come down to, if the Green finish 3rd, points per match compared to the 3rd place team in the Metro Division's points per match. As it stands entering tonight, the Green would have that edge, 2.22 points per match, edging Manhattan Soccer Club in the Metro, who have 2.14 points per match. 3 points tonight sure would go a long way. Seacoast United also in action tonight, taking on AC Connecticut, trying to stay perfect and unbeaten. They have been the best of all USL2, the Phantoms. Castillo, too much on it, was looking for Leibovitz.
and just immediately giving it back to Vermont there. It's the one thing you just try not to do. If you do get the ball back, you win it back, try to at least keep it for a period of time. Let everyone settle down a little bit, collect themselves.
They have not had any possession. Rodri, Twali, Leibovitz, tackled by Doherty. How much of that has been Rodri? Maybe
a lot of it.
Quiet performer tonight, right?
Rodri's definitely, in my opinion, probably the best at like sniffing out the tackle, just like reading where they're going to. And it never looks like he's just doing it like the last ditch tackle.
Leibovitz has a try. Everybody wants in on it. Go ahead, Matt.
No, but I was going to say it's team pressing. You're noticing that like when Vermont lose the ball, you see 3 or 4 players that are the closest to the ball start to close in, and then you see Boston has to go long.
I want to ask you a bit more about this. The term organization is then thrown around a lot with team pressing, and especially when teams want to really up that tempo and pressure. Where does that come from? Is that the back line, even the goalie who's organizing some of that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, it's Fisher and Ndie. They will start to communicate with the actual midfield to push them up. But really, it starts with Adam and his staff. It's the way that they want to, win the ball as quickly as possible. Like, can you do it in 5 seconds? Can you do it in 7 seconds? Something like that. Like, give them a goal and then, kind of work on how you position yourselves to go and win it back.
It's happening in about 2 seconds right now. Another chance.
Oh.
Leibovitz, his turn inside the 6 to miss the target. I mean, we don't have expected goals at this level, but I would guess the XGs for Vermont Green are really climbing the charts.
Yeah. And there's still a long time left in this second half, Brian. We still have got probably roughly 22 minutes.
Sure, Drexler, another option for the Green that could enter to give, I would think, Musa and DA or Reed Fisher a breather. 2 more changes now for the visitors.
Yeah, we do have to remember, other players do need to get some time in their legs because you never know what's going to happen within the next couple matches. So you need everyone to be kind of fresh and ready.
Especially somebody like Ndie. He's now started 9 of 10 matches, playing in all 10. Although it doesn't feel like he has lacked for any pace.
I don't
and now
think
here
the
comes Boston
linesman
City.
was looking.
Flag stays
during
down.
that.
It's Montali.
Montali.
He stopped a 2-on-0 chance. I think the linesman was distracted there,
It was. The linesman was having a conversation with the official on the sideline. It's something to do with the staff. And he didn't see that was about 10 feet offside.
The Green frustrated. Obviously, this game likely out of hand for Boston City. Like you talked about, Matt, that goal difference does play an impact at certain points. And we've talked about this team's defensive record. That's something they're proud of.
Exactly, and that's why I think Adam is really just being very vocally upset about this. And you can hear him saying right now, that sort of thing can keep us out of the playoffs.
Yep. It's a big deal. It's a big save for Montali. He's been up to the moment.
He has, and it's tough because he's been, you could say, almost cold because he hasn't had to have a lot to do this match, but when he's been called upon, he's done a great job.
Yeah, we were just saying hadn't seen him in a while. Pretty move from Castillo, but right along the sideline.
Rodri with a little deceitful push to the head there. I like a little bit of that.
He's an adult.
I know. They're adults.
Sometimes I think Rodri likes just a reminder that, yeah, I'm the biggest, baddest guy out here.
I'm the big dog.
He's still
big dog's
chatting.
got to eat.
There's still a conversation occurring between the Brazilian, João Barbosa, and Rodri. Well, I texted you recently, Matt, just kind of curious about the team's fire a little bit. And we were talking off air about not that they are flat or anything along those lines.
Just different.
Just different.
Yeah.
My mind was brought to Nacho Larraich recently when watching the Argentinian national team, and there was nobody that played with that fire and intensity like Nacho did.
Right.
And I was curious if you thought that, not that this team was necessarily missing that, but if there was something maybe lacking a bit when it came to a bit of that just explosiveness.
I think you see a calmer defense this season than maybe previously. Like, that's maybe something that, like, you could interpret it that way. I think there's just maybe a tiny bit lacking of that, like, nastiness that gets you over the edge and, like, those 0-0 draws, you know, that was just against Western Mass. But, like, if you had a little bit more tenacity, if you were a little nastier about it, maybe you would have gotten that one goal just to get that result.
Wonder if some of that from Rodri, moments like that, could be a part of that. And here goes Mo Ibra. Really dragged back. Yeah, it's going to be a booking. Going to Gischel. They're really now playing a back four. They've abandoned
there's
the
no
back
point
three.
playing a back five at this point. Sorry, off the ball.
Sure. Really on the ball. They were pushing numbers forward early. I was impressed with the way Boston City came out and started this match in that way. They tried to take the action to Vermont Green. Siad Haji under pressure for Fisher.
Well done. He just never seems to fret there, Rodri.
Now Ibra in space. Castillo, positive first touch away from Chris. Lockerman. Try to go one time. There have been a few of those tonight for the Green where they've generated something positive and been well off target.
It must genuinely suck to have to mark Castillo when he's doing an overlap. Because he's just him and Thread Gold have just got absolute pace for days, and Prego as well, obviously. But
there's Castillo
and
on
look
the
at
step.
him, you know, just he's able to step when he's 5 feet behind the player.
Twali already with a great goal on his right foot tonight. Mo Ibra on his left foot, and that's an awkward one for Hall. Down to his left, makes the save. First look at Mo Ibra letting one rip.
Yeah, well done to him to create that chance, too, that opening for the shot. And now it's raining a little bit. You know, that ball's going to be a little more difficult to keep a hold of.
It's been fun to watch Twali jump in there. Mo Ibra's been impactful.
I think Twali's looked really good since he's come on. He's looked lively. Might be a little bit of tired legs for Boston, but, you know, you got to take advantage.
Twali started against Albany Rush. He was electric off the jump on the road, assisted a Yaniv Bazzini goal. On the assist, actually got a knock. Had to come out of the game after about 20 minutes.
Unfortunate.
Haven't seen him since, so it's great to get him back out there tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's another of these older guys, Matt. Played at Hill College, a smaller school. Now Benny Prego showing off the burners. Leibovitz in the middle. It's Hall who gets a piece, and it's cleared off the line by Barry.
I feel bad. Leibovitz is getting in really good positions. He's had a couple different attempts. I want to see him get his goal.
Feels like he's due. Twali called for the foul. Well, Leibovitz, it's been a while since he's scored. Scored once in the U.S. Open Cup. He and Zach Zenge came out of the gates in a fury along with Bazzini. We asked a bit earlier on tonight, does the Green need somebody besides Bazzini to put the ball in the back of the net? Jackson Castro joined him tonight, and now Twali has one as well, so they're up to 24 goals on the year. Bazzini still has 11.
And yeah, when I said that also, it's obviously you want your center forward to be the leading goal scorer, of course.
Yes.
But you do want to see, you know, a nice equal distribution also throughout maybe like your other attacking players. Like they should be getting into maybe 3 or 4 or 5 goals potentially, or, you know, something around that. That might be a little bit much for how short the league is during the summer, but you get the point.
Well, I think they've in general answered some questions tonight. It has been a fun and really bouncy almost performance from the Green attack.
Right.
Very fluid, quick in transition.
It looks like they are mentally and physically well rested too after that little brief time off.
Let's
give credit to the women's team's performance.
Match,
the whole display and everything, the entire event really just seemed to put some spring in their step.
I was really floored, again, talking with Coach Pfeiffer about how much he said his guys enjoyed that match and responded in training. And I do think we're seeing it
now
today.
We're seeing it, yeah.
Because a lot of these guys who play close to every match, you notice a lot of things around the team, right?
You start to pick up personalities, traits of certain people. You
Sure.
can see how much they like each other. That's a characteristic of the Vermont Green that I've noticed in every season, but especially this one, is everyone seems to really have each other's back.
Fearless challenge there from Fisher. And I just wonder, a night like that where you're cheering on somebody that you are in many ways teammates with on the women's side, but you aren't out there competing with. I just do wonder about the mental juice and bounce that could have provided this side.
I think it's a proud moment for the entire club and the players. Makes you feel good about who you're playing for, who you're spending your time with during the summer. You know, are you in good hands? Do you like the mission statement? All of those things. It matters when you actually see it on the field.
I think so too. And again, credit to everybody involved, especially Sam Mewis, her staff, and all the players. So just that spectacle that was here last weekend, the men trying to match it, maybe a bit more explosive in how they've done so tonight, but certainly have lit up the crowd with some wonderful moments.
I think there's one more in this, Brian. I think there's one more.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's got 10 minutes.
6 seems to be our number. When we go on a run.
Could be.
When we go on a run.
AC Connecticut was 7 this year, remember?
Oh,
they got
that's right. We broke that.
set
Okay.
the record. Previously, it had
I was
been
thinking of that
6.
6-3 or something from last season.
That was a bonkers one. Also, AC Connecticut, ironically.
That's right.
Against that team, it just feels like
Never
goals
low
are
scoring.
scored. Stuart Drexler, the Norwegian, is set to enter for the Green. I would guess for Musa and DA, I would think. Could be Reed Fisher.
I think it's actually Fisher. Fisher looks...
His first action in a while, too. That's a good point. And then DA is just a
And
robot.
DA is the captain, too, so...
No Daniel Pacella tonight, although he's back with the team in training.
Ooh.
Lockerman takes a spill.
Lockerman runs onto it, gets tripped up and picks up a free kick to the Green.
I would guess somebody like Rodri would be handed that armband pretty quickly. Or Montali, he's been great back in net.
Oh, it looks like Drexler's going in for Rodri.
It's going to be Rodri. So
Okay.
Musa and DA moves to the midfield.
Rodri's covered a lot of ground and had a really, really good match tonight. It makes sense to kind of take him off. Be like, all right, job's done. It's 5-0. Go and get a rest. Go get some water.
It's as if they wanted to have Musa and DA show off a different skill set.
Sure.
You've been great tonight at center back.
Sorry, I misunderstood. So they moved in DA up there.
I think they moved
That
in
makes
DA
sense.
into the defensive
Yeah,
midfield
yeah.
along with Lockerman.
Definitely.
Maybe the Moose Man will get one.
Wouldn't that be something? Does he have
Swally.
one?
Oh, Ibra almost snuck inside. He had one last year,
That's
scoreless
right.
this year.
Yep. It's a little difficult to score from all the way back there.
Boston City FC just looking for a breather. Jiwoo Lee, the outlet here, closed down immediately by the Energizer Bunny, Mo Ibra. He's covered a lot of turf since entering for Jackson Castro.
I think they're honestly just tired, Brian. It looks like a lot of kind of reactive movement. It's not proactive, if that makes sense. You know, they're not making those kind of selfless runs to create space for somebody else to come into.
Probably a lot of mentally
Right.
tired players
Oh, yeah.
out there, too. It's tough to stay up and stay ready to go.
Yeah, when you're physically tired, that your mental game starts to take an impact. I know because I'm extremely unfit.
Aren't we both? Look how low City are now dropping.
Ooh.
Fisher over the top. Benny Prego!
Oh!
Barely wide.
You can see Fisher lying down on the ground. He wanted that scooped pass. I loved it. He wanted that assist.
Delicious. And Prego looking for his first in the green.
But it's all smiles out there. Everyone's having a good time.
What a ball that was from
Right?
Fisher.
The audacity.
Lockerman takes it back, commits the foul.
I think he kind of came through the leg just a little too
Just
rough.
enough.
Yeah, just enough.
Jair White skips by Ndie, who recovers.
And again, 3-4 green shirts all around him.
That's a bad giveaway. Allows Chris to pick it up.
And this nightmare right there.
I'll take it. That is, I think, 2 giveaways from Musa Ndie. Uncharacteristic. He single-handedly won the ball back on both.
He's got a different proposition now playing in midfield, so I'll give him a break. He can also recover so fast that it almost doesn't matter.
Does have underrated speed. Castillo down the line for Ibra.
Speaking of speed.
Yeah, this is a fun matchup. Ibra and Barry. Barry's had his hands full tonight. Only can play it out for a corner kick. A plate applause from the fans.
And I mean, at minimum, if that's what you can create through a match, like say that was how it was the whole time, you just consistently get it forward and get a corner. It's like, well, there are worse things.
Yeah. Fisher is going to come up and join the fray. Drexler at 6'4", looming as well. And Ibra plays it quickly, and DA was, speaking of lurking,
They're instructing Lockerman to take it now.
this is somewhat of Lockerman's specialty. How he registered an assist in the U.S. Open Cup. He and Bazzini often share this responsibility for the University of Vermont. Pretty much all the set pieces between those two. That's driven to the near post, and it's skipped through. Fisher.
Ooh, I thought something much worse was going to happen, but
He and Jiwoo Lee end
good
up
sportsmanship there, yeah.
go careening. And now Hall gets a
then
bump
there's the
from
play.
Fisher. Fisher saying, I helped him up.
Yeah, he's
I'll
like, I
still
helped him
get
up. Come on, man.
Cameron Hall doesn't like it. Owen Seward, trouble with Jan Twali. And they're going to bring this one back for a tug in the jersey. Twali has earned a free kick for the green.
They're looking to bring back Castillo, so it looks like Fisher's going up. I'm just listening to Adam right now instructing his players, and he does want to keep that insurance just in case there's a break, because he does want to keep this 0.
Good ball from Lockerman. Castillo will step to it. Really nicely done between those two. The two left footers, Castillo and Lockerman, playing 1-2. It's Twali. He drags it for Twali. Well done by Hall. How about Castillo and Lockerman down this left side, Matt? That was quite filthy.
It's those one touches, Brian. If you can play it one time, it's so difficult to get the ball off.
They're just seeing the fields quite nicely. Mountain DA. Benny Prego lowers the head. Siad Haji, the cutback. He was looking for Mo Ibra.
Boston players, just jogging to the ball right now, and that's why Vermont has just been able to keep possession.
It's almost felt like a training match this last 30 to 40 minutes of this action. Green with the ball, City defending. That's a poor one from Ibra. Every now and then, those have been a bit loose from the youngster.
That is kind of the...
Oh, but there he is. Leibovitz is offside.
It's a really good step from the back line. I'll give him credit on that. Because Ibra was in. Leibovitz was about to just feed him right in. And And look at this crowd, Brian. You know, it's starting to rain here. It's not too bad, but it's enough that you're going to start getting wet, but still got a majority of the crowd out there.
Another great crowd on hand. Got to give credit to them.
World class.
I'm not sure it's been announced as a sellout, if not a near sellout, which is just the usual around these parts.
Right, exactly. 80%, you know, of the ticket sales on average, no matter what.
At least.
That's just something to behold.
Big matches still looming, though. After today, there will be 3 more home matches, 2 in league play. Of course, the massive one with Seacoast United still on the horizon. The Boston Bolts, who are currently 4th in the division, also come to town. Really a gauntlet to finish the year for Vermont Green. They go Seacoast at home, Bolts at home, Western Massachusetts on the road. But they've taken care of business tonight, Matt. I think that's important. There was some pressure to get the full 3 points. They have absolutely performed.
I can smell a potential upset with Seacoast. I don't know.
They got to come here.
Talking about that match away to Seacoast, it sounded like what you had spoken to Adam, that it actually was fairly even for most of the match. It was just 2 unlucky moments from there.
All reports are that it was a 10-minute stint in which Seacoast capitalized.
Right.
Otherwise, the Green were firmly in the game at worst.
And we got something that Seacoast potentially don't have to be able to display because they don't have the infrastructure for it, like the stands that we have for it. We've got a packed stadium.
I thought you were going to say Yaniv Bazzini.
Yes, well that too.
Not many can display him. He and Alec Hughes, 11 goals each to lead the division, to lead the country. Man of the match tonight, Matt?
I think it's Bazzini.
One more look for Prego. I would go Jackson Castro, I think.
He was pretty much like a very close second. I just think that Bazzini kind of just has the edge because he just did so much to bring all that together for all those goals.
Understood. Yeah. The bicycle kick, a wonderful header. Castro, the banger from deep, and then a tap in with authority on the feed from Xavi O'Neal. Jan Tuwali has the 3rd goal since halftime. He'll play it back for Fisher. We've played 90 minutes. Tuwali loses out there. What a play to win it back. He's been great.
And that's that tenacity that we're kind of looking for.
Hasn't been quite the night for Leibovitz. He's the one who lost that one. Sir Drexler is going to be whistled.
A little bit too much of that extended arm on that, I would say.
Initially, that was showing a free kick for the Green. Now it's corrected and goes to Boston.
I don't think Adam will have liked it, though, just because now it's potentially a chance for an awkward ball into the box.
Montali trying to hold his 2nd consecutive clean sheet in net. He's made 1 huge save on a breakaway tonight. João Filo to put it in play. Nearing the final moments, Montali stays put. Dangerous one.
Hearts and mouth there. Oh.
Can it bounce
Awkward
for Haji?
Bounce.
Pretty well done by Barry.
That's why you don't let it bounce, Brian. Ooh, well done from India there.
He has such a good feel for the game.
Right. He uses momentum of other players really well. You know, he sees where they're going and he knows where his next touch needs to go to keep the ball.
Here he is. The Senegalese captain of the Green. Leibovitz able to split the lines. Castillo. He's trying to rejoin the attack. Tuwali. Flag is down. Jan Tuwali!
Oh.
And Hall forced into action. Able to flip it away.
Don't think he expected the shot. I think he expected him to go across. Try to catch him a little off guard.
Hall able to make the stop. He's been busy. Far busier of the 2 keepers.
This is probably going to be the last play of the half now.
Let's see if Fisher and Drexler can throw their names in lights.
I would like a center back goal.
Yeah, me too. That'd Fun.
Nothing like the big man getting a goal.
Lockerman. Drexler the flick.
Ooh.
Good try from Drexler.
And that's going to be that.
5-0 the final. A brace for Bazzini. A brace for Castro. Tawali has the 5th. A clean sheet for Montali. And 3 points for the Green. It's a solid victory.
It's a perfect night. Honestly, with what we talked about now, how the division is shaping up for the remaining part of the league, the season. Now, this is exactly what you wanted, was, a very comfortable win. No red cards. No, I don't even remember actually seeing a yellow card at any point. So nobody's in the book and collecting anything.
7-1-2. The Green improved to 23 points, awaiting the final results from Western Massachusetts. They have the chance to keep pace with the Green. At least 1 point for them will keep them at least level or above Vermont. But in the meantime, Matt, it's a big, vicious win for Vermont when they needed one. You just said it, a solid one where you got the 3 points you came for. Tonight, they can send the fans home happy. Going forward, what do you think the focus is coming off of this one?
Well, I think it felt very complete from defensively, but also in the attack. It felt like everyone was contributing to it. It wasn't just like only Bazzini. I know that I highlighted Bazzini was very much kind of that glue, especially in the first half, of bringing everyone in and creating those chances for it, but it felt like everyone was on the same page, singing from the same hymn sheet.
The Green head on the road this weekend to Pathfinder FC Sunday, trying to stay unbeaten over now their last 4. It's Vermont Green FC 5, Boston City FC nothing. For Matt Montel and our entire production crew, thank you for joining us this evening. Vermont Green FC are victorious.